Today I have the Tissot PRX in black in 40 millimeters, and this is the quartz version as the second hand indicates by the ticking and not the sweeping. Though you can get quartz watches today that sweeps as a mechanical movement, so it's a little bit harder to tell nowadays, but this one still ticks. It has a ETA movement from ETA, the Swatch group, which essentially Tissot is also under or owned by. And this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to deviate away from how I usually make these videos, where I do a lot of B-roll and then do a voiceover and edit it all together. Sometimes I like this type of relaxed approach to watches, just talking about them. So hopefully I'll get better making these videos with time. I'm still gonna make these other videos, but hopefully you appreciate and will tune in when I make these videos as well. So let's talk about the specs. It's 40 millimeters. It has a date window, which usually I'm not a huge fan of, but I think on quartz watches it does make sense because of it's being battery driven. So you only have to change the date once a month instead of mechanical movements that if you put the mechanical watches away, you have to change it regularly. I believe it has a thickness under 10 millimeters. It has a signed crown. It's not a screw down crown, but it is water rated down to 100 meters. It does hack. And the way you change the date window is essentially just pull out the crown, the first position. Wait, didn't get it right there. And then you pretty much just turn it clockwise and change it. And if you want to change the time, you pull it out one more time to the second stop. Then you can change the time, and when you want the clock to run, you just push it all the way in. It has a integrated bracelet, and which essentially means, as I understand it, it's just being fully aligned with the watch, and there's not really any lux. It just kind of fade into one another. It does create a beautiful cohesive design. One drawback is, though, at least with the Tissot PRX, I'm not 100% sure if this is all integrated bracelets, is that you can see the link here. It does not bend. The end link does not bend, which essentially is gonna make the watch look bigger. So the lug to lug size essentially is from the end link to end link and not from the actual lugs. Let's take a look at the watch on my wrist here. It's 40 millimeters. My wrist size is 8 inches, bear in mind, and it actually looks fairly big, and I think it's because of the end link not bending. I do think, though, the watch looks fine on my wrist because of it being 40 millimeters, but if you do have a 6-inch wrist, I would probably recommend you to look at the 35 millimeter. I think it would be more appropriate. I think it is a bigger watch overall. But with that said, anybody can wear them. It's really about taste more than anything. And you can see kind of here the bracelet, how the light plays on the flat integrated links, which is pretty cool. It's such a beautiful bracelet, and in terms of looks, it definitely hits above the price. You know, I think it runs for about $400, and I think you are definitely getting a higher value in terms of aesthetic and even the quality. I mean, it doesn't have too sharp edges or anything. The bracelet is really comfortable, and I really like overall just how it feels and how it wears. I mean, I've shown this bracelet to some of my family members, and they unanimously said it's one of the best looking watches that I have, simply because they like how the bracelet looks. I mean, you can talk about the dial being maybe a bit too sterile or too clinical, but the bracelet definitely does make up for it. I think it does bring a lot of elegance to it, and the K shape is barrel shapes. I think it's called tenue. I'm not sure if I pronunciate that correctly. It has a decent crown size, which fits the aesthetic. Overall, what I want to say about the watch is it's very clinical and very utilitarian. I don't think that's a bad thing, but sometimes you do feel like it's a bit, I gotta be careful here. I wouldn't say it's actually boring. I just think it lacks a bit of character, but the character is it being utilitarian. And sometimes I love the design language of this watch. Sometimes I might find it boring, but sometimes I actually adore the design. And it's very Swiss, I would say so, but it's a very good Swiss design language that's been utilized here. Otherwise, what do I think about the watch? If you just get my thoughts and stream of consciousness regarding this watch. The price is, I guess, around $350 or $400. I think there's some micro brands out there presenting better value, but considering the fact that the quality control is great, the dial design is great, and the bracelet is probably one of the best you can get for this price point, and the fact that it's such accessible, like there's not a shortage of the watch. You can pretty much get it anywhere. And it's a watch that a lot of people will look at and go, well, that's actually pretty cool, because it is a great watch overall, the look and the aesthetic and how it feels overall. So, I mean, for $400, like slightly under $400, I think it's probably one of the better watches you can get. And considering the fact that it is a Tissot watch, we have to like count that in. It is a branded watch, and a lot of people know what Tissot is because they have sponsorships with pretty much every entity in sports, you know. And I just think, you know, I was positively surprised. Sometimes I have wanted to sell the watch simply because I have so many other watches and I feel like it doesn't really have a place in my collection. But other times I feel like, why not just keep it, you know, because it is a cool watch and I can use it as a beta watch. And it has a 100-meter water rating. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that it's actually a sapphire on top, so it's scratch resistant. So the only draw I really see with the watch is two things. It's literally two things. So one is that the bracelet scratches fairly easily. I've had two of these. I've had it in blue and I've had it the automatic version with the waffle pattern. Essentially, the bracelet is the same. You can interchange the bracelets and they're the same. And they scratch fairly easily, I would say so. So that's one of the cons. Yeah. The second con, is the fact that the case, or more or less the dial size, is just a bit too big. I mean, I like it, but just because of the end link not bending, I would have actually preferred it to be a little bit smaller, around 38 millimeters instead. And I think the 40 mil just looks a little bit bigger than I want it to be. I feel like it looks and wears bigger than the 40 mil suggests. So again, it's a great watch and I definitely do recommend it, but it does have its, drawbacks. But I think if you're looking for a nice watch and you don't know where to start, I mean, this could be a great watch for you to begin with, for a year or 2 years or 3 years, or maybe for the rest of your life, you won't want to wear it. It's super easy to sustain. It's just literally change the battery and it should be running. And it's, and the movement inside of it is an ETA quartz movement. It's not one of those Miyota off the shelves movements that are used in millions of fashion watches. These are actually, I would say, fairly quality movement. And when the battery is dying out, it has a technology built in, so the second hand will skip, so you know that it's running out of battery. So I think I would definitely recommend this watch, and I think you would be happy with the watch as well, because it is a great watch. If you have any questions about the Tissot PRX, let me know in the comments. Of this and the automatic version, I probably would choose this watch simply because I already have a bunch of mechanical ones. But if you don't have a mechanical watch and you're really looking to buy a mechanical piece, I think the Tissot PRX automatic is probably the way to go. Also because the waffle pattern is intriguing and it actually does look good. For me, I think because of the collection that I have, I actually appreciate this being a quartz watch. I can't quite explain what it is, but it's a pretty cool piece. It just put on, and it being a beater, I can wear it pretty much in any occasion because I would not baby it too much or worry about it too much. It's just a watch to slap on and move on with my life. So I think that's probably how I'm gonna use this watch. But let me know in the comments what you think about this watch and overall what you thought about this review. I would love to have your input or what you thought about me making these types of videos. But thank you for watching, and I really appreciate you guys out there following my channel. Thank you.